My name's Paull McBain. I'm a professional MMA fighter. My record is 6-1. I train out at the Aberdeen Combat Centre for Spartan Fight Team. Started around, I think it must have been around 10, 11 years ago. So I've been competing for around, I think 9 years, so about 10 years. I trained for around a year then I started. The reason I started was I used to play a lot of football when I was younger, and I kind of gave that up once I started meeting girls and drinking a bit and and doing what young boys do. So I was needing a way out of it. I was needing something to do and something to focus on. So I went along to a class at the warehouse gym. One of my pals was going along, so I says I'll go along and try it. I had no interest in fighting. I just thought I'll just go out and try it, and I loved it. I was hooked. I was just addicted every night. I think I used to train like 5 nights a week, like for 2 hours a night, travel time. I think my first fight was about a year after.
When did you decide that you wanted to fight?
I don't think I ever did. I think my coaches I've never actually been confident in myself to fight. Like, I want to go and fight. I always look at it as like, why do you want to go and fight? What's the reason in fighting? I always say this, I've said this in a couple of podcasts, it's like, I don't like fighting. It's only because I'm good at it I fight. And why do I fight? I fight because I want to showcase my skills. I want to show how good I am in competition, and that's a way of showing and testing yourself. I like to test myself. From day one, I was fighting the best guys in Scotland. I've fought people that's always been better than me, So that's what you want to do. In my terms and the way I look at fighting is, and I'll tell this to all the guys, is you're only as good as your next fight. You thrive for that. The guys look good, they're winning fights and they're performing well, then that's who you want to fight, that's who you want to beat. You don't want to fight the ones that are coming off losses. You want to fight the ones, chase the wins, chase the good guys, if you know what I mean. That's what, as I say, you're only as good as your next fighter.
So can you tell me about your first ever amateur fight?
Oh no, it was insane. I can't remember it to be such, as in like nervousness. It was more I was really uneducated. You didn't have, like, I've got guys fighting now, I can teach them everything. It was a smaller, it was big back then, but it wasn't as big. I didn't understand the rule set. I think my first fight, I think I told you this before, I was like hugging onto the top of the fence, while trying to hold somebody there, and the referee's like, you can't do that, and I'm looking at him going like, why not? I thought you could do everything, I actually won by, it was a weird submission. It was like a omoplata neck crank. I don't even know if the neck crank was allowed. Yeah, my first fight. It was a very rare submission. I'd never seen it, I'd never even heard of it. And it's something I won my first fight on, and I was just hooked. So I knew I could do well. And then I began, okay, so what's my next test? You've got to have a goal in everything you do. There's no point in doing it. Okay, so what's the goal? To get better, get more fights and get the experience. So when I went, I thought somebody 2-0, then it was like 3-0, then it was like 4-1, 5-1, and I was getting some of the best competition in Scotland. And ever since that, I've always fought the best. I feel it's something that you need to do to become the best. You've got to beat the best.
How does winning feel?
Winning feels, yeah, it's good. It's like a cherry on top. You put in the work, and at the end, you've got what you wanted. Through the whole fight camp, you think of every single position that you're going to be in, winning wise. I think of every single bad position that I'm going to be in to lose. I don't think about winning. I think about losing. That's what drives me through a fight camp. I don't think I'm going to win this. I think every day I'm losing this. I'm losing it. That's what makes me get up in the morning and I get better. I get better and I get better. And that's where I thrive from. That's where I get better. I just think I'm getting beat. This boy's better than me. Every single fight that I've had, I've lost in my head. Winning's good if you perform, in my perspective, right? I've trained 6 weeks, I picture in my head all this, yeah, I can do this, and I don't do it. Now, if I underperform and I win, I'm still annoyed with myself. Don't care what nobody says, yeah? Now, after taking a loss, I don't care about winning. I don't care about losing. God's honest truth, I'll hold my hands up. I care about performing. Whether I lose, don't care if I lose, but I want you to tune in and watch me be exciting. Yeah? If I win, then cherry on top. If I lose and I'm exciting, I don't care, because that's what I want. I want you to watch me. I want you to like my style. I want you to go tune in and go, fuck, he's good. You know, his style's good. I like him.
If you could give any advice to young fighters coming up, or maybe advice you would have wanted to give yourself when you first started?
Train smart, not stupid. I trained the wrong way for years. You know, we used to go and spar hard, get home and you'd be having concussions, and that's not the way you do it. You know, it's not healthy, it's not sustainable. You can't do that for a long period of time. Especially now, I've been doing this 10 years. If I'd done that and I've trained like that for that amount of years, it's not good for your head. Don't come in and punch your head off each other. Don't take unnecessary damage when you don't need to take it. Train smart, get better at jiu-jitsu. Technique. You can spend hours on the mat learning technique. People ask, the fighting's hard. The fighting's easy. Fighting's easy. It's 15 minutes of fighting. I fight 3 5-minute rounds. People think, oh, that must be hard. And I'm looking going, that's easy. I'm getting punched in the head for 15 minutes. Through a fight camp, I'm getting punched in the head 15 hours. Do you know what I mean? It's the accumulated amount of blows that's gonna damage you. Keep that damage for when you're in, but obviously don't try to get damaged. Don't try to get hit. You know, but if you are going to get hit, you know, you've not been hit 1,000 times before in the gym. There's no point in doing it. You don't learn nothing getting hard sparring. You know, you push the intensity up for a fight camp for fighting. Don't do it otherwise. Yeah.
What would you say to the people that still have the stereotypes that cage fighting is just all about, it's really barbaric? What would you say to those people?
Yeah, it's brutal. Yeah, it is brutal when you're fighting. Yeah, how can I deny that getting punched in a 4-ounce glove's not brutal? But it's a martial art. You look at it as a barbaric sport or a brutal sport. I look at it as a beautiful technical sport. You know, I don't watch fights now. I study fights. You know, somebody will throw a right hand, hit him a beautiful shot to the head. You look at the boy getting hurt. I look at the guy throwing the punch. You know, we look at it from a different perspective.
What's the best thing about being a professional fighter?
The best thing, right? I say it's guys looking up to you. I've got guys, you know, I've got kids now that I train a PT. I'm a professional fighter, but also a personal trainer. So I train kids. I train adults, I train people. Now I can feel them. I've got a young kid that I PT just now, and he's wanting a picture of me in his room, you know. Who am I, you know? And if I can make a little boy's day by putting a picture in his room of me and him, then fucking, you know, I've made it. That's me happy. Whether I win fights, lose fights, but if I can show a little kid and build a little kid up to try to be like me, jackpot, you know. How's that? That's not losing. Whether you lose fight or not, that's winning.